Well, hello YouTubers. This is my first, maybe my only instructional video. I'm going to call it, well, the tune I was playing was Freight Train, and I'm going to call the video Cotten Picking because it will be clear. The tune Freight Train was written a century ago by a girl who was then 10, 12 years old, Elizabeth Cotten. Well, her name was not, she married to the name Cotten later on. She didn't marry at 10, no. So, but she did write this song, and she played it on guitar upside down because she was left-handed, and she would pick up her brother's guitar, first his banjo and then his guitar, while her brother was at school, and she would attempt to play it like that, left-handed. So it probably sounded something like whatever, until she learned to do it right. And she was self-taught, so she eventually became a very good guitar picker. And this song sort of lived its own life and became widespread in music circles. Now, what I have been demonstrating is not, strictly speaking, I'm not picking the guitar exactly like Elizabeth Cotten would do, because especially the right hand is different. Elizabeth would rest her fingers here, and she would only be using two of her fingers like this. Whereas I like to use four fingers. So that's one difference. But still, when I say cotton picking, I refer to the way the guitar is strung. This being the lowest string and the highest string up here. Whereas on a normally strung right-handed guitar, it's reversed. So I'm trying to imitate what she would have been doing, but not quite. But still, let's call it cotton picking. So, a normal guitar, when you strum it, doesn't sound like this. When you go down, it sounds like this. The big question is why. Yeah. But before we get to that, I would like to tell you how to do this and to reverse the guitar, because there are a couple of things that you need to be aware of. First of all, this is a Spanish guitar, so-called Spanish classical nylon string guitar, whatever you want to call it, and that means that the strings here, even the lowest and the highest strings, have pretty much the same girth. If you try to reverse the strings on a steel guitar, you will get probably into some more trouble than I had. We'll get to that in a minute. So let me just explain what I have done. It's pretty obvious. This is the low string, and I have placed it where the high string used to be, and swapped those two. And I have swapped the A string and the B string, and of course the D and the G strings. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now back to the girth of the strings. If you look at the neck of the guitar, is the high strings are usually here. That means this groove here, which is meant for the string to rest in, is narrower than the one over here, and that means when you attempt to apply a heavy string on this side of the guitar, this string is wound, and the material which is wound around the string is going to get stuck in this, or could potentially get stuck in this groove, and that actually happened to me. So when I strung it up, the material which is wound around the string would be held back by this groove, while this end of the string would be stretched ever wider, and finally it snapped. So that would be a problem if you're using this, if you try this on a steel string guitar. But you could get maybe another neck, this part. However, that is you will need to get it out somehow. It's glued or whatever from the neck. So I don't know what you want to do. Of course, you can just buy a left-hand guitar and play it upside down. That's the next step. Anyway, that's only where the trouble starts. There's another problem at the other end, of course. But I'll have to show that on another guitar of mine. The first guitar which I showed you was it's a spare one. It cost me $50 in a supermarket, and I don't care that much about it. So I've been using it for special tunings and now for special stringings, and that was very useful. But now it's yeah, well, back to this. Another thing which you might have to consider is if you look at the bridge. This is the bridge of the guitar. You will notice that it's designed so that the third string here, the G string, is a little bit longer than the rest of the strings on the guitar, and so you would also need to replace this one. You cannot turn it around. That would only make because the third string would be in this position, that would only make the third string shorter. And anyway, there's a sharp edge on this side of it. So, but you could also replace this one from a guitar shop. Or as I said, buy a left-hand guitar. And oh yeah. Okay, so those are the only two technical problems that I have encountered using an island string guitar: the head and the bridge. Now, the rest is just work, as they say. So, how to learn all this? I'm not suggesting that you try picking to begin with, but if you're a guitar picker, you might. But surely the best way to familiarize yourself with this, as with an alternative tuning, is to just play some chords, like the C chord and you know, G, E, D. So C, G, D. Yeah. The most common chords, and just play along and F, and then you have all the rest. The barred chords. Now why? It's a challenge. It's not that easy. It's fun, and you need to think about what you're doing, and it may not be for creating the next super hit, but it's, yeah, well, I just had to do it. I know there are a lot of left-handed guitarists out there, not a lot, but there are some, and usually they play a left-handed guitar, or at least they restring it as Jimi Hendrix did, and as I have done now. But there are a few left-handed guitarists who played a normally strung guitar upside down. Yeah. I have not heard of any right-handed guitarists who do that. So that was the challenge. And it's fun because, someday a friend might hand you a guitar and you go, oh, hey, wait, hey, this is a left-hand guitar. Wait a minute. Hey, I like the sound of this one. Where did you buy it? And the joke is on them. But that's just a party trick. I was actually thinking that maybe there would be some patterns that would be possible, which aren't really possible on a normally strung guitar. And I've come up with an example. It's just a conjecture. I haven't verified this, but it's an idea that I'm playing with. In reggae, you have the rhythm guitar goes like, actually it goes like from the bottom and up. So when the guitar is strung reversely, it goes from top to bottom. One. Right, and then in reggae there's sometimes a very complex bass pattern, which I'm not trying to I'm just imagining that it could be easier to play, if you want to play solo guitar, it could be easier to play with 3 fingers, and maybe you could make something interesting out of that. But other than that, that I don't know. Maybe with a thumb pick. So rhythm guitar here on with the thumb, and then a bass. Yeah, I haven't thought it through.